Guys, welcome back to another absolute banger video here for you guys on the channel, and that is how to go about creating irresistible offers for your social media marketing agency or any type of service-based business that you're actually genuinely running, such as a consulting business or coaching business. Doesn't actually matter what type of business. I've just realized that like your offer is basically what you're genuinely selling. So if you're selling anything, you're gonna obviously need to have an irresistible offer. So this is gonna work for any business that you're actually running. Namely on my particular channel, there's normally people talking about personal brands. I normally talk about like SMA, obviously that's the main one, and then consulting. So if you see me looking over here, just by the way, it's because I've got a few notes to make sure that I absolutely just hammer this home and actually just end this to actually create you and help you guys create, should I say, irresistible offers for your social media marketing agency, coaching business, consulting business, or just service-based business in general, or any business in general, to be honest with you guys. So let's talk about creating a irresistible offer. Well, before I get into that, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell as well. That does help me out with the algorithm. And by the way, if you guys want to enroll or work with me one-on-one, the links are below. Agency Transmutation is going up on the 1st of March by $100. So it's 497 USD right now. It will be going up to 597 USD on the 1st of March, which is still actually, a couple $100 off the actual original price, which is 997. That's actually going to be releasing. So save yourself some money, enroll into that, because it's only going to go up in price as the modules keep getting released, if you will. So, and it becomes more valuable, if you will. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, go to the link below. It does require at least a $2,500 investment, but you always make an ROI on that because it actually comes with a full money back guarantee. So there's a little bit of an irresistible offer for you right there and then. Anyway, guys, let's talk about irresistible offers. First and foremost, I'm gonna assume that you've already found some sort of pain problem and a hungry crowd to serve, if you will, somewhere where there's actually demand for what you're having. Because it doesn't matter how good your offer is, if there's no demand for it, there's no point trying to create a irresistible offer or service around that. So obviously there needs to be demand first. This is the number one point. You obviously need to have some sort of demand, and the way how you go about finding that demand is obviously you go about picking a niche and setting a hypothesis. You pick a niche in terms of you want to help accountants, for example. You might know a little bit about accounting firms, or you might know a little bit about e-com, or you might know a little bit about how to help people with binge eating, for example, if you're talking about consulting. Now that's a crowd, if you will. Now what you want to do is you identify what problems that particular crowd has in common. This is what you actually call finding a niche, if you will. You want to find people that have a commonality, which is a problem. You then find that problem through niche research. Primary research is the actual best research you can actually do, which is actually going out to your niche and actually just DMing them, asking them, emailing them, calling them, and it's asking them literally, what is it that you struggle with on a day-to-day basis? If you could fix anything in your business or in your life or what you're doing right now, what would it be? If you could live your ideal lifestyle or have your ideal business, what would that look like? What are you struggling with on a day-to-day, base? I think I've already mentioned that one. But long story short, that's what you want to do to conduct primary research. If you don't even do this bit, there is no point carrying on. This is why I'm emphasizing this bit, drastically. Now, the pain is the pitch, is what I'd like to say to this. And what I mean by that is the reason why I've just highlighted all of that and finding people's pain problems is because if you can articulate, right, a person's pain problem back to them very accurately, they're already automatically and always going to assume that you have the solution for that. It's almost like going to the doctors and you kind of explain your problem to the doctor, and he basically explains it back to you even better than you can. So what happens there is it kind of like in your brain, it mentally shifts your brain to see this person as an authority figure, and they know what you're going through, and because they can actually explain your kind of like situation, your problems back to you better than you can, you automatically are going to assume that they have some sort of solution to this because it sounds like it's familiar to them. It sounds like they've gone through this and seen people with this problem millions and millions and millions of times. So they're automatically going to see this doctor as some sort of authority figure with a solution. So remember that you need to know a person's pain problems better than they can. First of all, you have to obviously find like a niche, like I said, identify their pain problems and be able to articulate it back to them very, 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 very well, very accurately, if you will. Now, creating an irresistible offer is also about creating massive value. Now, value is one of those words that kind of like just gets thrown around, to be honest with you. Like, what does value actually even mean? And here's what I mean by actual value, if you will. Value in terms of business is just being able to, I guess, the way how I kind of explain it, because it is a loose term. It's very up there in the air, if you will, kind of term. If you will, it could mean a plethora of things. To be honest with you, value is kind of one of those things that whatever it means to you, it means to you. Value to me could mean something completely different to you. For example, like me, making more money probably isn't as valuable right now than, you know, increasing my time freedom, if you will, or, you know, establishing my legacy. I'd rather establish my legacy than make money right now. At the start though, don't get me wrong, when I was first starting off my business, getting to that 10K per month mark was literally the only thing on my mind. So that would obviously be the value to me. So obviously value is obviously what you perceive value to be as, but what I can do is break this down for you. Now, in order to charge what you're worth, or even high ticket, or whatever you want to charge, it doesn't actually matter what you want to charge, as long as you can actually increase the value. Now, the way how you go about this is what I like to call shifting the scales. Now, in order to charge what you're genuinely worth, first and foremost, and I'll get into the irresistible offer kind of creation in a second, but these are the fundamental stuff you need to understand. So what I'm actually trying to say here, guys, is that there's a scale, right? In everybody's mind, there's a scale. And it kind of works like this. You want to be able to shift the scale to show that your value is actually more valuable than the money that you're actually asking for. For example, if you're selling a $2,000 per month service, for example, like Facebook ads or TikTok ads, or a $2,000 per month kind of like mentorship program, for example, you need to be able to, you know, tip the scale in your favor, showing that person and explaining to that person that for their measly $2,000, you're going to get way more back than that in such a very little time. And that's what I'm trying to say about value. You actually need to make the thing that you're selling sound more valuable than the actual $2,000 or whatever it is that you're charging that they have right there and then, if you will. That's how you create value, and that's how you tip the scales. Now, there's actually 4 ways of increasing your value, and this is how you're going to create an irresistible offer. So if you've got a pad and pen right now, definitely write this down, because I'm actually going to give you the imaginary, what I like to call the imaginary pill kind of like explanation of this. Now, I want you to imagine, right, that there's an imaginary, obviously hypothetical pill. There's an actual pill. I'm talking about like an actual pill. So let's pretend, right, that this pill has the ability to cure any illness and make you immune to any illness. And all you have, and it has 100% certainty that it will work. And all you have to do is swallow the pill. So there's no effort on your particular behalf, and it works immediately. All 4 of those things I've just mentioned, the pill is effortless. You swallow it. It's in pill format. It has a 100% certainty that it's going to work. It makes you immune to any disease. That's obviously a big problem that us humans have, because, you know, diseases there's so many diseases you can get, unfortunately. And it actually works effective immediately. With those 4 things, that's how you're going to create an irresistible offer. And let me tell you, if you could literally create a pill that did all of those 4 things, you could charge anything you'd want to. People would be taking out bank loans. People would be doing anything to get their hands on this pill. I know that I particularly would. If he was charging like $1 million, I'd somehow find $1 million to actually take this pill. If you're going to make me immune to disease, obviously this pill doesn't exist, but you get the point I'm trying to make, guys. It's very out there explanation, but it explains these 4 parts in vivid detail. So part number 1 is you want to increase the results that person will get, or the perceived results that person will get. So instead of saying that you can help somebody go from 0 to 2K, say that you can help them go from 0 to 20K or 0 to 200K a month, for example. So that's increasing the actual, this is the obvious one that people think of, you know, when it comes to creating irresistible offers. You know, increasing your value here would be increasing the actual goal, if you will, making the goal bigger. So instead of helping somebody lose weight, say that you're going to help them get to their ideal weight, or some sort of weight that actually makes them look extremely attractive, if you will. So that would actually be a better, and that's the most obvious method, if you will. The second way is to increase your value is to actually increase the likelihood of you succeeding with that particular person. And here's what I mean by this. If you say you're going to help somebody get from 0 to 200K a month, but you've never done that before, they're going to be like, how are you going to help me do that if you've never done this before? So they're going to kind of see that as like, that's not realistic, if you will. So what you want to do is obviously having case studies, testimonials, guarantees will actually also work here. And the third thing you want to do in increasing your value is actually decrease the amount of time it takes to actually get that said result. Now here's all 4 of these, by the way. If you can do all 4 of these, which I'll get to the 4th one in a second, you will literally have what you call the magic pill, if you will, which I'll break down again in a second for you. So decreasing the time it takes from getting them to point A to point B. So for example, nobody really wants to wait around for results, right? And this is something I actually teach in Age Transformation as well, that like, when it comes to actually getting results for somebody, people actually would pay more to get it done quicker. So I know that in society we're taught to kind of like work harder for money. So if you're putting all this extra work, some people think that sounds like it's more valuable, when realistically, I want to give you, in fact, let me backtrack and give you the doctor analogy. So let's say, or the dentist analogy, let's say you go to the dentist, right, and you are absolutely in agony because you've got like a decayed tooth or something like that, and it needs to get pulled out immediately. Like there's no shopping around, you literally cannot think of anything else except for getting this tooth. You can't even sleep at night, you can't even function in the day because it's that painful. You go to the dentist, the nearest dentist, like immediately, and you ask the dentist, can you take this tooth out? And he says, yes, I can take this tooth out, Montel, but it's going to cost you $5,000, for example. And it's going to take me 2 minutes. I could literally sit there and complain it's going to take him 2 minutes, but then the doctor could just reply back to me and be like, hey Montel, you know what? It's still going to be $5,000, but I can take 5 hours to pull the tooth out if you want to. Which one do you want to take? And like, obviously, if that was the only doctor in town, I am physically going to pay that $5,000, even though it's going to take 2 minutes. And the reason for that is because he's going to take me from point A, which is me being in agony, to point B, which is, me being relieved of the agony, in 2 minutes. In fact, on the brass tacks of things, I would actually rather it take less time than it take 5 hours. I'd rather it take 2 minutes than 5 hours. So if you can decrease the amount of time a person gets results, that is obviously going to increase your actual value and increase the actual aesthetics of your actual offer, if you will. So remember all of these. Now the fourth one is decreasing the amount of effort that person has to put in themselves. So let me give you an example. If you are trying to help somebody, lose weight, for example, but they have to give up all their snacks, they have to, work extremely hard every single day, go to the gym every single day, the chances of them actually doing that is very, very low. People are lazy. People like kind of like done for you services, if you will, and they don't really want to put effort in and sacrifice a lot of stuff. So if you can decrease the amount of sacrifice somebody has to make and decrease their effort on their end to get said result, your offer is actually going to increase in perceived value. So let me link all these points back again. Number one is you want to increase the results you're able to get somebody, or increase the perceived amount of results you're able to get somebody by obviously becoming an expert, having better case studies, that sort of stuff. Number two is increasing the likelihood of you perceiving, you want to increase the likelihood of you actually succeeding with them, which is basically, just making sure that you obviously are expert and you know what you're doing, you have a good track record, basically is what I'm trying to say there. So if you could increase the value, the actual goal, if you will, instead of going from 0 to 10K, I help you go from 0 to 100K per month. There you go. That would be increasing the goal, if you will. And then two would be increasing your likelihood of succeeding, as in you've got a good track record, you can have great testimonials to help you back this up, you can have case studies, you can have guarantees in place as well. And number three would be decreasing the amount of time it takes you to get from 0 to 100K. That would actually obviously help you increase your value, because you're actually taking less time to help them get there, if you will. And people don't really want to take a long time to. People want results, and they want results now. They want it effortless. They want it as soon as possible. They want it to be of high chance, and they want to make sure that it's obviously a big goal, is what I'm trying to say. And they obviously decreased effort is the fourth point. Now let me bring it back to the pill again. Imagine there's a pill that can cure any cancer, right? This is a very morbid example. There's a pill that can cure any cancer. It works immediately. It has 100% track record. So the delayed time would be it's immediate. It works 100% of the time. It cures any cancer. That's a very huge, claim. And there's no effort on your behalf. There's no lifestyle changes that you need. You don't have to quit smoking. You don't have to quit drinking. You don't have to quit eating processed fat foods. So there's no effort on your behalf. It's literally, there's no working out. There's no gym. There's no dietary changes. There's none of that. That right there would be a perfect offer. Quite literally, you could charge anything for that and people would buy it. And the reason for that is because it falls into these four criteria, if you will. It's very quick, it's 100% effective, it's a big goal, if you will, and there's no effort on your behalf. If you can combine those four parts, if you will, that right there is how you're going to create an irresistible offer. And then what you can do is you can strengthen your offer even more, this offer, if you will, by adding guarantees on. Now there's multiple types of guarantees you can add on. There's guarantees like full money back guarantees. There's partial money back guarantees, which isn't as good, obviously. And then there's guarantees that state stuff like, if we don't get you X amount of result by this particular time, we'll work for free continuously. So that's not actually a money back guarantee, but it's a guarantee that I've actually started implementing in like in my one-to-one coaching, where it's like, if I don't get you, clients within 45 days, like actual paying clients within 45 days, I continuously work with you for free until you actually genuinely get clients, and that's completely for free, and that's indefinitely. And that's basically what I mean by backing your stuff up with guarantees. So if you can figure out these 4 things, right? And again, I'll explain it one more time. You want to increase the perceived result, as in you want to get them better results. That's the most obvious one. I think that's the first one everyone thinks of. Number 2 is you want to increase the likelihood of you succeeding, helping them get that result. Number 3 is you want to decrease the time that they get from where they're at right now to getting that result, if you will. And number 4 is you want to decrease their effort on their behalf. You want it to be effortless for them. So you want it to be hands-off, completely hands-off, and you do the works. People are lazy. They want big results. They want those big results now. They want it to be certain, and they want it without putting in any effort. If you can factor in those 4 things, that's how humans work, and that's how you're going to create irresistible offers. Honestly, guys, if you take what I've just said in this video, create an offer around all these things, and then back it with a guarantee, honestly, you're going to absolutely win and crush this game. And that's how I've been able to scale my agency, even my coaching business, to now multiple 6 figures. Like, I'm not thinking like 6 figures, like 3 times over, combining my businesses together and stuff like that. Just actually made my first 250K, my first $250,000. And this is the sort of stuff that's actually genuinely helped me. This is where rubber meets the road. It's your offer that raises hair on people, sparks interest, gets people to come to you, if you will. And honestly, this is literally where it's all at. But you need to go through all these stages first. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this. If you do want to work with me one-on-one, the link is below. If you've got a service-based business, such as an agency, coaching business, consulting business, this is obviously for you. It doesn't matter if you're an agency, it doesn't matter if you're you want to build a personal brand, or like a coaching business, some sort of business that actually obviously you need to set calls for, if you will, and actually jump on those calls and you sell them some sort of service, if you will. It's a service-based business kind of thing. If you want to work with me one-on-one, the link is below. That's called alchemicagency.com. You can just go there, learn a little bit more about that. And if you do want to enroll in Agent Reputation, again, the price is increasing from $497 to $597 on the 1st of March 2022. So make sure that you obviously enroll before that, so that you actually save yourself that extra $100. You can put that towards connects and stuff like that. There you go, guys. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video pretty soon. Peace.